I am posting to respond to the attention that my hair has been getting. So first, to respond to the genuine curiosity, yes, my hair is in locks, and yes, human hair of all types will lock naturally if it is not brushed. Mine have been formed using the crochet method, so there are no elastics and no braids involved. Second, yes, I'm very aware of the issue of cultural appropriation, particularly in a North American context in which systemic anti-Black racism has played out in discrimination against Black people with locks, which actually have a very rich and complex cultural and spiritual history that is rooted in Africa over many, many centuries. I know very well the valid rage that people of color feel around cultural appropriation, and also my responsibility as a white person to hear the message at the core of that rage, which is about the many forms of unspeakable injustice which white supremacist culture was founded on, still rests on, and which I benefit from as a white person. So my work around becoming increasingly accountable as a person of European descent has had many, many different branches to it, including learning from Black and Indigenous women in particular, taking personal and professional risks to disrupt white fragility and white silence, and very deep psychological work required to heal the false superiority that I was unconsciously conditioned into. I am enormously grateful to the generosity of the women of color from whom I have learned and continue to learn. Some of you I will never meet. Some of you I personally know and love. And I thank you all for guiding me back to my humanity and to true accountability. The course I recently taught on neurodivergence was founded on the recognition that we cannot understand anything that has been constructed as a quote-unquote disorder without seeing clearly the culture that has labeled it so. And this involved uplifting Black and Indigenous perspectives and voices, including live guests from around the world and many other videos and voices that help to reverse the colonizing gaze and see the sickness of the dominant culture with piercing clarity. Locks have been part of cultural and spiritual traditions on every continent for thousands of years, very long before the idea of race was constructed. My personal choice to have locks comes out of many years on a politically informed spiritual path and the transition of entering perimenopause in a culture that silences women at exactly the moment we step fully into the spiritual power that commands us to advocate on behalf of all life. It also comes out of deconstructing white conditioning, which has involved owning and facing the deep spiritual void at the center of white culture so that I can meet the accountability that spirit directly calls me into, including honoring and receiving wisdom from land and non-human kin. So to be clear, the work I do around whiteness happens through research, through advocacy, through relationship. It does not happen through debates with strangers in the comment sections and social media. For those of you who were genuinely curious, I hope I have answered some of your questions in the absurdly short time that social media allots us to discuss profound, urgent, and complex issues. For those of you who really only wanted to publicly shame me, I just gently invite you to consider whether there is any misalignment in the certainty you feel judging my character based only on the color of my skin.